do you truly grasp the weight of this? In a profession like Conor McGregor's, reaching his level of success is no small feat. He's likely worth a couple of $100 million already. Now think about this, setting that fortune aside to dive back into the grind, the blood, the sweat, the pain of getting knocked down, taking elbows to the face, and having teeth knocked out. That kind of sacrifice? It's not something just anyone can do. There's no paycheck big enough to make that easy. And yet, here we are. Conor McGregor has issued a fierce warning to Logan Paul ahead of their anticipated fight. The Irish superstar claims he'll earn a staggering $250 million from this bout. Earlier, in December, McGregor hinted that preliminary talks for a boxing exhibition match against Paul were underway. The event is rumored to take place in India, adding an intriguing twist to the spectacle. McGregor poured fuel on the fire recently when he responded to reports of a jaw-dropping $500 million fight deal for a showdown with Paul at Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium. He shared a post featuring the Indian flag and a heart emoji, further building the hype. According to Fightbook MMA, both fighters stand to earn an astonishing $250 million each as part of India's ambitious Visit India tourism initiative, tying this mega fight to the country's global campaign. Now McGregor appears to have confirmed his payday. He posted on X, formerly Twitter, $250 million, I'm coming. Alongside the post was an image of Logan Paul decked out in WWE attire with the Indian flag prominently featured. For McGregor, this fight is monumental since fracturing his leg in a match against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in July 2021. The 36-year-old has been absent from his main sport, mixed martial arts. Fans were eagerly anticipating his return in June 2024, where he was scheduled to face Michael Chandler in UFC 303's main event. However, that fight was called off after McGregor suffered a toe injury during training. As the hype builds for this extraordinary bout, one thing is clear: McGregor is ready to step back into the spotlight, and he's doing it with a bang. Will Logan Paul rise to the challenge, or will McGregor prove once again why he's one of the greatest in combat sports history? All eyes are on India for what promises to be an unforgettable fight. Attempts to secure a new date for Conor McGregor's return to the octagon ultimately collapsed in November. Complicating matters further, a high court civil ruling in Dublin found McGregor liable for misconduct. Nikita Hand emerged victorious in the legal dispute against the former UFC 2 division champion, receiving $248,603 in damages. A look back at McGregor's boxing debut in one of the most high-profile crossover combat events ever. McGregor has only fought once in professional boxing. He faced undefeated legend Floyd Mayweather, who entered the ring with a perfect 49-0 record and exited with an unblemished 50-0. The blockbuster event promised a colossal $410 million purse, split between the two fighters. McGregor reportedly earned $130 million, while Mayweather took home the lion's share at $280 million. At the time, this set the record for the largest payout in combat sports history. However, if McGregor's recent claims hold any weight, a potential fight with Logan Paul could shatter that record. Logan Paul's boxing journey. Logan Paul's boxing career has been less decorated than his brother Jake Paul's. Jake famously fought Mike Tyson in front of 72,300 spectators in Texas, attracting an additional 60 million viewers on Netflix in November. Logan, on the other hand, faced Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition match in June 2021, battling for several rounds without an official winner being declared. Prior to that, Paul fought his now business partner KSI in two highly publicized matches in 2018 and 2019, marking the start of the YouTube boxing era. Paul's only professional boxing match ended in a split decision loss after he was penalized for striking KSI while he was down. Talks of a McGregor versus Logan Paul showdown. Recent industry reports suggest that discussions are underway for a boxing match between McGregor and Logan Paul, tentatively planned for April 2025. The UFC is rumored to play a key role in these negotiations. McGregor's recent challenges. Since suffering a leg injury in his July 2021 bout against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264, McGregor has not returned to competition. His comeback seemed imminent in the summer of 2024 when UFC officials announced he would headline UFC 303 against Michael Chandler. However, McGregor withdrew shortly after the announcement, citing a toe injury. Hints and skepticism. Surrounding the Paul fight recently, McGregor hinted on social media that a fight with Logan Paul was close to being finalized. Despite this, many fans remain doubtful about the UFC's stance on the match. Misfits News podcast adds fuel to speculation. In the latest episode of the Misfits News podcast, hosts discussed the potential bout, further fueling speculation about what could be another historic crossover event in combat sports. Ben Davis and Beal recently tackled some of the most talked about questions in combat sports. During their discussion, Beal dropped a major revelation, confirming that the UFC has played a significant role in the ongoing negotiations for a potential blockbuster fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. According to a reliable source, both McGregor and Logan are deeply interested in making this fight happen. Negotiations are already in progress, and there's an 80% chance it will come to fruition by April of this year. The UFC is actively involved in these discussions, and things are definitely moving in the right direction. That's fascinating, Beal. Two things really stand out to me: the timeline, April 2025, and the involvement of the UFC. Dana White and the higher-ups would have to be fully on board for this, much like they were with the Floyd-Mayweather fight. It's ironic, though, because Dana has publicly stated multiple times that he wasn't interested in doing co-promotions or ventures into boxing again. He even hinted it wasn't worth the effort last time around. But it seems like plans are already in motion. April 2025 is much sooner than most fans would have expected for a fight of this magnitude. With UFC's broadcast rights potentially shifting soon, the timing could make this a strategic move for everyone involved. Speaking of big money fights, Floyd Mayweather, whose reported net worth exceeds $1 billion, still holds the record for earning the highest payout in boxing history. Could this McGregor-Paul matchup replicate that success? Only time will tell. Will this dream matchup become a reality? The clock is ticking, and the world of combat sports eagerly awaits an official announcement. Reports indicate that Floyd Mayweather set a remarkable record in combat sports earnings, pocketing an estimated $275 million from his 2017 showdown with Conor McGregor. This made it the most lucrative single event for any combat athlete to date. Now, it seems Conor McGregor might be on the verge of challenging that record. According to a recent update on X by the Mac Life, projections suggest that McGregor could earn an astounding $250 million in his upcoming bout against Logan Paul. The event, set to take place at Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium, is part of a grand Visit India tourism campaign. This historic clash not only marks a major promotional effort, but also places both fighters in line for significant financial rewards. However, not everyone is convinced the fight will happen. Former UFC fighter and MMA analyst Chael Sonnen delivered a fiery critique expressing skepticism about the match's feasibility. He was particularly surprised by reports that the Ambani family, known for their immense wealth, would invest such a massive sum to promote Indian tourism. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Sonnen claimed he had been approached by representatives of the Ambana family, requesting a shift in the narrative surrounding the fight. Despite the rumors, he remains unconvinced, stating that the idea of a McGregor versus Paul showdown doesn't add up logically, though as he admits, that alone isn't enough to rule it out. Let's revisit a fascinating topic from earlier. I questioned the rationale behind a family pouring a staggering $500 million into a boxing match featuring two individuals who aren't even professional boxers. The initial claim? It was all about promoting tourism in their country. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. Here's where things took an intriguing turn. I recently spoke directly with representatives of the Ambani family, and they were quick to correct me. They clarified that this wasn't about India or tourism at all. Instead, the real motivation was far more personal and strategic. They told me outright, no, you've got this part wrong. This isn't about showcasing India, and it's certainly not about tourism. This is about elevating the Ambani family's global prestige. That's right, this whole event was designed to build their family's international recognition and influence. In recent years, the Ambani family has strategically expanded their presence in sports, using it as a tool to bolster their global reach. This boxing match wasn't an isolated event. It was another calculated step in their efforts to solidify their standing on the world stage. Mukesh Ambani, chairman of Reliance Industries, has already claimed the top spot on Forbes' list of the world's wealthiest sports owners. This investment wasn't just about the fight, it was a carefully crafted move to amplify their global influence, using the universal appeal of sports as their vehicle. So, while the match might have seemed like an extravagant attempt to boost tourism, it was actually a masterstroke of branding and international positioning for one of the world's most powerful families. What do you think about this kind of strategy in 2023 with an astounding net worth of $83.4 billion, the Ambani family has cemented their place in the world of sports. Their extensive portfolio includes the Mumbai Indians, a powerhouse team in the Indian Premier League, Mumbai City FC in the Indian Super League, and even a stake in the burgeoning field of esports. Nita Ambani, wife of the billionaire magnate, holds a prestigious position as a member of the International Olympic Committee. She has also been instrumental in launching India House for the 2024 Paris Olympics, further solidifying their influence in the global sports landscape. Given their growing presence in sports, it wouldn't come as a shock if the Ambani family decided to sponsor a high-profile event like the rumored fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. However, some critics, including Sayan, have labeled such a move as unwise. He has openly voiced strong disapproval of the proposed fight. Scheduled to take place in India, the bout between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul, not to be mistaken with Jake Paul, comes with an eye-watering price tag of $250 million each. For perspective, this figure surpasses the combined payouts for boxing legends Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Sayan argues that investing in such a fight defies all logic, firmly believing that it is a misstep for any potential backer. When discussing such a substantial financial investment in boxing, Chael Sonnen emphasized that it should be directed toward legitimate fighters. According to Sonnen, with that level of monetary backing, even a dream matchup like Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford could become a reality. If you had the biggest checkbook, you'd be the one to secure Canelo and Bud Crawford. You'd make that happen under boxing regulations, he speculated. The former UFC star labeled the move as absurd, stating that the only reason it's generating media coverage is because of how outlandish it is. However, he noted, "You cared enough about this to reach out to me and ask for clarification." Though his tone reflected frustration, Sonnen, often dubbed the American gangster, expressed appreciation for being contacted. He assured the Amani family, "You can count on me to discuss this event." Despite his promise to engage, Sonnen made it clear that he remains firmly against the fight, stating, "It's not too late to turn things around. Why not fire those awful consultants you've hired? If you want to host a proper boxing event, go find actual boxers." The buzz surrounding this potential event has sparked debates across the combat sports world, leaving many wondering what direction it will take. The hype surrounding a potential fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul seems to be losing steam just as quickly as it began. Most fans, with the exception of those in India, don't appear overly enthusiastic about this rumored matchup. For now, everything remains speculative, with no official announcement on the horizon. Adding to the uncertainty, McGregor is still bound by his UFC contract, which has 2 fights remaining. This means UFC President Dana White could very well block any plans for McGregor to compete outside the organization. At this point, fans can only wait for concrete updates. Interestingly, a source identified as Ghazi Twee shared on X, formerly Twitter, that discussions about the fight might involve not just McGregor's promoter, the UFC, but also KSI's Misfits Boxing. However, because McGregor's contract is tied to the UFC, their approval would be essential to make the fight happen. On the other hand, Logan Paul's commitments with WWE, owned by TKO Holdings, the parent company of the UFC, add another layer of complexity to the situation. India, with its rapidly growing interest in combat sports and the widespread popularity of both McGregor and Paul, emerges as a compelling location for such a high-profile event. It's no surprise the UFC might be eyeing the country for this spectacle. Until further announcements are made, all we can do is speculate and keep an eye on any breaking developments. He pointed out that there's no demand in India for a boxing event aimed at boosting tourism. Additionally, Sonnen said that McGregor is still bound by his UFC contract, thus it is unlikely that he could fight Paul without the promotion's consent. He further dismissed the reported $250 million payout for McGregor to fight Paul, stating there's no check for $250 million, so he kind of went right down the list of joking he's kidding, despite new information about the fight surfacing through Misfits News. No official announcements have been made. Yet additionally, the idea of Misfits hosting the fight remains purely speculative with no solid confirmation backing it up. What do you think? Could it happen? So Logan Paul's fighting Conor McGregor, but we getting scammed, since originally this 5 was supposed to be Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I don't know who got more scammed, the people that about Crypto Zoo, or Jake Paul at least. We know this fight will be a harder watch than Joe Biden going up the stairs. Regardless, I will still be watching this fight. Make sure to subscribe. CH Sanan further explained that it was important to understand Conor would not be boxing Logan Paul. He clarified that there was no billionaire in India seeking to promote tourism by organizing such an event, emphasizing that such initiatives were typically undertaken by governments, particularly in places like Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. Sonnen also dismissed the notion of a $250 million check, noting that Conor had humorously gone through a list of exaggerations and was not serious, adding that none of it was meant to be taken as true. Sonnen raises a valid point about the impact of Turki Alik, a prominent figure in Saudi Arabia's the decision for Misfits Boxing to potentially host a high-profile bout raises some interesting questions. One theory shared by the source suggests that Logan Paul and his business partner KSI recently traveled to India, where they reportedly held discussions with the influential Ambani family. This meeting might have sparked conversations about hosting a marquee boxing event, which aligns with the Ambanis' interest in boosting India's tourism industry. A large-scale fight could serve as a major draw for international visitors. Why not other prominent promotions? Given the nature of the event, major promotions like UFC or WWE seem unlikely to take the lead. The UFC, primarily focused on MMA, hasn't traditionally ventured into boxing promotions. Similarly, WWE, with its wrestling-centric brand, would find it off-brand to organize a one-off boxing event. This leaves Misfits Boxing, a promotion closely associated with Logan Paul and the UFC through endorsements and sponsorships, as the most logical choice. Misfits Boxing, with its history of promoting crossover fights and partnerships with Paul and KSI, seems uniquely positioned to host such an event. Their collaboration with Paul's and KSI's Prime Hydration brand, which also sponsors the UFC, further strengthens the connection. Hosting a fight involving Logan Paul and potentially Conor McGregor would not only align with Misfits Boxing's identity, but also pose minimal competitive risks to UFC's position. Dana White's approval of Conor McGregor's 2017 fight with Floyd Mayweather could serve as a precedent for such an event. That match demonstrated White's willingness to explore crossover opportunities that benefit the UFC. Similarly, a boxing match between McGregor and Paul could attract new audiences to both fighters while simultaneously promoting the UFC brand. Despite the speculation, not everyone is convinced. MMA analyst Chael Sonnen has openly questioned McGregor's claims about a potential exhibition match with Logan Paul. Sonnen dismissed the idea as completely untrue, arguing that such events are typically driven by government-backed initiatives rather than private negotiations. His skepticism underscores the uncertainty surrounding the logistics and feasibility of the rumored event. While the prospect of McGregor stepping into the boxing ring against Logan Paul under Misfits Boxing remains speculative, the pieces seem to fit together. The connections between Misfits, Logan Paul, Dana White, and even the Ambani family's potential involvement hint at the possibility of a groundbreaking event. Whether or not it materializes, the conversation reflects the growing intersection of combat sports, global tourism, and entertainment. In recent years, Saudi Arabia's royal court and the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority have played a pivotal role in transforming the kingdom into a global hub for major boxing events. Their remarkable financial investments, reaching hundreds of millions of dollars, have been instrumental in attracting high-profile bouts to the region. Meanwhile, Mukesh Ambani, a renowned sports enthusiast and billionaire, is best known for owning the Mumbai Indians, one of the premier teams in the Indian Premier League (IPL), and for founding the Indian Super League, a groundbreaking soccer league in India. However, skepticism persists regarding claims that Ambani is investing an astronomical sum, reportedly $250 million, to bring Conor McGregor and Jake Paul to India for a showdown. Sports commentator Chael Sonnen expressed doubt about this scenario, questioning the motivations behind such an investment. He highlighted that individuals of Ambani's stature typically seek recognition alongside their ventures. Billionaires don't just write $250 million checks for events that don't amplify their own brand or reputation, Sonnen remarked. He argued that a person willing to spend such a vast amount wouldn't remain anonymous, preferring to ensure their name is prominently associated with the event. Instead of being labeled simply as that wealthy guy from India, such a figure would likely aim for global acknowledgement. Sonnen elaborated on the psychology of fame and fortune, noting that wealthy individuals without fame often find their anonymity unsettling, just as famous individuals without financial security face their own frustrations. This dynamic makes it improbable that Ambani or any similar figure would fund a high-profile fight between an Irish UFC star and an American WWE personality without securing significant personal or brand recognition in return. Shifting focus to Jake Paul, his evident goal is to surpass Conor McGregor as the leading figure in combat sports. McGregor, known for his crossover appeal, ventured into professional boxing in 2017 to face Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest boxers of all time. That iconic bout, which ended with a late-round stoppage victory for Mayweather, showcased McGregor's bravery but also emphasized the vast gulf in experience between the two fighters. Jake Paul, with his meteoric rise in the combat sports scene, appears determined to eclipse McGregor's legacy. Whether such monumental events in India will materialize remains uncertain, but the prospect has undoubtedly sparked intense debate within the sports world. McGregor had already solidified his status as a renowned UFC champion, securing several significant victories. However, his journey since then has been a roller coaster of highs and lows, both inside and outside the octagon. Meanwhile, Logan has gained more experience in the wrestling ring than in boxing. He notably squared off with Floyd Mayweather in a high-profile exhibition match in 2021, which was held without judges. Amir Khan, a former world champion, spent years trying to land a fight with Mayweather, but was never able to make it happen. Reflecting on this, Khan shared his thoughts with Sports Daily on what might unfold if Paul and McGregor ever faced off in the ring. Khan commented, "That's not a bad matchup for Conor because he's actually a big guy. When I stood next to him, he was only about 10 pounds heavier than me, which isn't his usual fighting weight, but he's massive, really solid. I believe he must step into the ring at around 175 pounds, so if that fight happens at heavyweight, I think Conor would do well. If you look at Logan's fight with Mayweather, Logan entered the ring and actually managed to get in some solid exchanges, so I'm confident Conor could do the same. When comparing the Paul brothers, I would say Jake is the better boxer of the two. Despite Logan being a bit heavier, he's more beatable, especially by Conor in a knockout. Logan is quite limited in his boxing abilities. He doesn't hit as hard as Jake, and his technique isn't as sharp. It would still be a huge fight, but I believe the Conor versus Jake matchup would be even bigger. If you look at Logan's record, he's had some losses and hasn't looked particularly impressive in his fights. Ideally, Conor would be the one to put an end to all the talk. As for a potential fight, if I could choose, it would be Conor versus Jake, or perhaps Conor versus Nate. KSI might be in the mix, but Tommy is going to get knocked out, no doubt about that. Khan commented that a fight between Conor and Jake would be much more commercially viable, suggesting that it would attract more interest from fans. Both Conor and Jake are quick-witted and energetic during press conferences, so the trash talk alone would make it an exciting spectacle. Logan, on the other hand, is much quieter and reserved, almost like the quiet kid. Ultimately, time will tell how everything unfolds. If Khan's prediction holds true, it's important to mention that in a recent Instagram poll, 63% of his followers picked McGregor to emerge victorious in this crossover fight, a result that could create an uncomfortable situation for Paul. At the same time, Logan Paul has stirred up rumors about his boxing abilities by sharing a video of his training, leading many to believe he may be gearing up for a clash with Conor McGregor. The video posted by Paul shows him working out in the gym he shares with his younger brother Jake in Puerto Rico. However, his technique has faced some criticism from fans. Currently contracted with WWE and expected to take on a larger role in 2025, Paul has not commented on the ongoing rumors about a potential fight with McGregor. In the past, he has been able to balance his WWE commitments, as seen in his exhibition match against Dylan Dennis. Conor McGregor recently made a statement saying that he's agreed to fight Logan Paul, but what's the latest update on this? From what I understand, talks about this fight have been happening for a while now, but I'm not sure if Conor just woke up today, maybe after some sort of epiphany, and decided to bring it up again. As of the last update I heard, there wasn't any new information, so it's unclear if Conor is just speaking out of the blue or if something has really changed. Logan, on the other hand, has recently become a father to a daughter, so he's really focused on his new role as a dad. Unless there's something I've missed, which is entirely possible, I'm not sure what Conor is referring to. That being said, the boxing world would definitely love to see this match. It's about two highly controversial figures, each with their own fan bases and haters, from two different countries and disciplines. This kind of fight would definitely attract global attention. It's like the Tyson versus Jake Paul hype. No matter how you feel about it, people would watch, and I'd personally love to see it happen. The rumors about a potential fight between Conor McGregor and Elijah Tapua first surfaced through a fake social media profile, but things took a turn when McGregor himself, alongside the McLife, an outlet founded by respected journalist Oscar Willis, known for his close relationship with Conor, helped amplify the story. Conor McGregor recently addressed and rejected rumors that had been circulating about a potential matchup with Pereira. He clarified that the rumors were false, stating that he is in early talks with the Umani family for a boxing exhibition against Logan Paul in India. McGregor confirmed he has agreed to this event and plans to eventually make his return to the UFC octagon afterward. It's clear that Jake Paul has set his sights on surpassing McGregor and positioning himself as the top figure in combat sports. McGregor is famously known for stepping into the boxing ring only once, facing off against one of the sport's all-time greats, Floyd Mayweather, in 2017. In that bout, Mayweather won by stoppage in the later rounds, although he appeared to comfortably navigate the early stages of the fight. By that point, McGregor had already made a name for himself as a dominant UFC champion, racking up several major victories in the process. The story gained traction when McGregor himself, along with the McLife, an outlet founded by renowned journalist Oscar Willis, who has close ties to McGregor, amplified the news across the internet. However, McGregor has since denied the rumors of a potential match with Pereira, confirming instead that he's focused on the boxing exhibition with Logan Paul, which will take place in India. Afterward, he plans to return to the octagon. What's your take? Was this a legitimate setback, or is there more going on behind the scenes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest boxing drama, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Knockout Updates. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of action, and check out our other videos. Until next time, stay tuned and stay passionate. Peace out. What's your take? Was this a legitimate setback, or is there more going on behind the scenes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest boxing drama, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Knockout Updates. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of action, and check out our other videos. Until next time, stay tuned and stay passionate. Peace out.